College Education, A Golden Ticket by Shivanthy Jones for GRC 600. For this presentation, we start off with an introduction to the topic, a look at the education system in the US. We look at the reasons the author gives for college education. We look at college education as a signaling device, the trade-off of receiving a college education. Then answer the thesis question, is it worth the price we pay? And then conclude with a summary. Christopher Caldwell is a noteworthy writer whose works have appeared in the Washington Post, the Wall Street Journal, the New York Times, and the Atlantic Monthly. He is the author of the 2009 sensational book, Reflection on the Revolution in Europe, Immigration, Islam, and the West. His article, What a College Education Buys, was published in the New York Times in 2007. In his article, he explores the question, does college education justify the price we pay for it? The current U.S. education system functions under the belief that every school child has the intellectual capacity to reach basic achievement levels. The Elementary and Secondary Education Act was signed into law by President Lyndon B. Johnson in 1965. The ESEA was established to close the skill gap in reading, writing, and math between students by providing each child a fair, equal opportunity for educational achievement. This law has since been reauthorized by multiple presidents. The Improving America's Schools Act of 1994 by President Bill Clinton, the No Child Left Behind Act of 2001 by President George W. Bush, and the Every Student Succeeds Act of 2015 by President Barack Obama have all been in place, assuming that every child has the same intellectual capacity to learn and succeed, and that the educators need to try harder to achieve this. According to Caldwell, the reasons Americans choose to go to college are: college has proven to be the nation's largest marriage broker. It is also seen as a coming of age for high school graduates to get civilized. You can possibly get an opportunity to rub elbows with the rich and the famous, and somewhere along the lines you get a qualified education. Americans are willing to pay a steep price to go to college. A four-year college degree at an Ivy League school could cost up to $180,000. Whereas 25 years ago, you could get the same education for $10,000 a year. The increase in prices does not mean the value of the goods has increased, but the benefits of holding a college degree has become more visible and pronounced. The income gap between a 30-year-old high school graduate and a 30-year-old college graduate is significant. A college graduate earns twice as much as a high school graduate. Employers see a college degree as a signaling device. It signals to the potential employer that the candidate shows willingness and has the capacity to learn. Whether this necessarily transfers into productivity is questionable. As more people receive college degrees, the return on these will continue a downward trend. So what is the trade-off? With a four-year degree comes a set of specialized skills. The individual is locked into a single marketable skill, which can or cannot be transferable to other areas, so lacks a flexibility of moving from one area to another if needed. Answering Caldwell's thesis question, is college education worth the price we pay? According to the author, if you are planning to become an expert in your profession, then yes. If you are planning on becoming a doctor, then by all means, get the education. Those who can adapt to change quickly find success. Employees with skills and intelligence that can be deployed in new directions on short notice are the ones favored and rewarded. Those with a specialty or a single marketable skill can become obsolete. An example that I would like to give here is with the introduction of computers. The education of a typist became obsolete. Caldwell writes this article under the assumption that education ends with a 4-year degree. To remain competitive in your field of choice, continuous education is an option. This doesn't have to be a higher degree, certifications, or educational credits. It could be as simple as being up to date about your field through reading, webinars, seminars, involvement in professional organizations in your field. We live in the world of technology, where information is readily available and at our fingertips. Most employers value employees who continue to advance themselves, thus becoming more marketable. Employers are willing to retain these employees because they see them as assets. If a college degree signals an individual's ability to learn, continuous learning signals an individual's motivation. What does a college education really buy besides student debt and a 4-year degree? A 4-year college degree is like a golden ticket. What you do with it is up to the individual. That concludes my presentation. Thank you all for listening.